Tell us when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Hey guys, thank you so much for joining in again. It means a lot that you're tuning in. Thank you if you're a returning subscriber. If not, and if you like this video, definitely go ahead and subscribe and join the community, join this sisterhood that we've created here. If you're new here, my name is Chenisani Patella, and I talk all things healing. I talk all things life, all things girl, particularly from my own perspective, from what I've personally experienced, what I've learned from other women around me. And today I am talking about my experience during my first trimester. So, yes, I am expecting, I am 13 weeks along, going into 14 actually. So, I just came to a close of my first trimester, and I'm just going to share the unfiltered truth behind my experience, what I went through, how I am still standing, basically. And this is not to scare anyone who's going through something as beautiful as pregnancy. It's to give you my honest truth and what helped during that journey. So, yeah, I found out I was expecting very early on. And the first few signs that I experienced, let me just start with that. So we were trying, and by God's grace, we didn't have to try for long. The very first month that we tried, we got pregnant. And the very first sign for me were my boobs. I hadn't taken a test, I hadn't missed my period. This was probably 2 or going towards 3 weeks after the last day of my last period, when I started experiencing soreness on my breasts, and they were bigger. Usually I'm one of those girls who can get away with not even wearing a bra, and I don't really have to think much about that, or my boobs showing, because they're relatively small. But this time around I found it to be a struggle, and they were unfortunately very painful, and I think it was the engorgement that led to that. There was a bit of discomfort there. There wasn't much to do in that regard. So yeah, guys, I just soldiered through it, and it's better now, thank God. And then 4 weeks later, I took a pregnancy test. We actually used the oh gosh, I'm forgetting the clear blue one. We used that one. We just used one stick, and it came out positive. We couldn't be happier. I mean, signs were already that we were expecting, but just getting that confirmation that we are actually expecting was just beyond words. And I shared that moment with my husband. We took the test together, where we found out we were pregnant, which would have been around 4 weeks along. And yeah, by 4 weeks, I was still feeling good. The only problem I can attest to were just the breasts, as I've already mentioned. And I still hadn't gotten my period, which was an added sign to that. And the pregnancy test confirming that I'm pregnant. And we made a booking with our doctor, and she, upon getting there, she had us do some tests, like some blood tests, and it's quite a comprehensive list of tests that we did. Some go into testing for STIs, for rubella, certain diseases or infections that they want to know at that point whether or not I have. And I think more often than not, they do impact the baby. So we went to the doctor to do that. And I've shared before one of the stories on my experience with pickers, and the biggest reason we started trying, as a matter of fact, is that our doctor encouraged us to do so early on. we definitely would have wanted to have babies earlier, but because of having relocated and having started a new job, started just new experiences, being in a totally new country, we wanted to adjust first, learn the ropes around this new area first. So we did not think it viable or advisable even to have a baby immediately. We've been married for 5 years, so we had to wait. But when I got the diagnosis that I had polycystic ovarian syndrome, my doctor advised that we needed to try as soon as possible, because one of the side effects that women experience in having this syndrome is that they struggle to have children. So she encouraged us to start as soon as possible. Ideally, she wanted us to start last year, but we felt there were just so many moving parts. Like I mentioned, we were not settled, we didn't have the proper finances, medical aid, all that. So we wanted all that to align slightly more. It's still not aligned, but it's much better than it was last year. So yeah, that's why we started trying. And yeah, I mean, lo and behold, we started trying, and the very first month we got a positive result. And honestly, it's God. I mean, we put in a bit of effort, but we're just so grateful. We're just so in awe of what God has done, what God is doing through us, and personally through my body as well. So after that, after the experience, the appointment with the doctor, went back home. I think I had the appointment with the doctor at 6 weeks. At 6 weeks, there was not much to show. She had me do date and viability scan, and we got to hear the heartbeat. We got to see a baby, to see baby. We got to, just get confirmation upon confirmation that we are actually expecting, that there is actually a baby growing in here. I still haven't gotten used to it. I'm not sure I will. I'm seeing the changes, but I'm just in awe of what's happening, and disbelief, to be honest, of what's happening. So the dating and viability scan came out. Okay, everything seemed to be fine. The baby seemed to have attached as they are supposed to, and the pregnancy is viable, which we were grateful for, because not some people, unfortunately, that's not the case. So we're very grateful that we got a positive result in that regard. Yeah, and going back to my experience, the personal experience. So I work from home, and thank God for that, because the first few months, say from 6 weeks or even 5 weeks, the symptoms were brutal. The effects that I felt were just brutal, from losing appetite for the first for those weeks, like from 5 weeks until probably now, I lost around 3 to 4 kg, and that was not good. It's simply because I couldn't keep anything down. I didn't have an appetite. The smells, I had so much aversion against a lot of food, predominantly onions. And onions are put nearly in everything that you cook. And the moment I could get a whiff of an onion or certain foods I didn't want to eat, I just couldn't. But I also knew that I needed the energy, I needed to feed baby. So it was such a conundrum, because I would eat and I couldn't keep it down. I didn't even want to drink water. And if you know me, you know I drink gallons of water in a day. But I was really struggling with that. But water is one of the fundamental things that you're supposed to be having during pregnancy. but it was nearly impossible. And because of that, I realized, and after going to the doctor, that that is why I then became energyless. Throughout the day, I was supposed to be working, but I could not even concentrate for 5 minutes. I just wanted to lie down. And even when I was lying down, it just felt painful. So I'm really grateful that I was working from home, or rather, I work from home in experiencing this, because it gave me an opportunity to rest when I could, particularly around lunchtime, since I couldn't eat. I would go try and nap, and that even instances, unfortunately, that I would nap when I was supposed to be working, because I literally couldn't stand upright or sit down. It was just too much for me. It was too much for my body. So I tried by all means to rest as much as possible. And unfortunately, there was a time, I think this was probably at 8 weeks, or actually 10 weeks, where I had to go on leave because there was too much on my body. I went to see my doctor again, and she was worried about the amount of weight I was losing. And in as much as it's somewhat common but not advisable, some people do lose weight in the first trimester. So she was a bit worried about that and the rapid rate at which it was happening. So she ended up advising that I just go on leave for a week to rest it out and try to gain some energy, try to gain some appetite back, hopefully. Try to find out what it is that my body can take, and just latch on that. Because I remember at some point she was actually advising, you know what, it doesn't matter what it is, even if it's ice cream, you need the energy, you need something, you need sustenance. And that is not to promote eating just that during pregnancy, but I think she was just emphasizing to say, if you can't keep anything down, something has to give. Just find something and eat. But obviously caution has to be taken in terms of what one eats during pregnancy. And I did try to eat, I found it was easier for me to eat bland foods. And by bland, I mean oats, I mean white bread. I'm the kind of person who usually doesn't eat white bread. So I remember telling my husband, you know what, I can't do multi-grain, multi-seeded bread anymore. I just need plain white bread. And he was basically asking which one, because we've not bought, particularly where we are based. We are currently based in Sydney. We've not ever bought white bread, and he was just stay on some. Okay, which one do we buy? I'm like, just any. We'll give it a try. Have a go at it and see how it goes. So the white bread was much better. I could take it with, sometimes with peanut butter, sometimes with just butter, and I couldn't even finish a slice. Like, that's how bad it was. But I would try to force it down, and then the oats were also helpful. And I'm grateful for that, because with the oats, obviously, I could put a bit of yogurt, some fruits in that. I'll probably have that. Like, I would literally have this much of a portion, and that was it. And it was painful because there was this imbalance of, okay, it's not even about me anymore. It's not just about me anymore. I need to be feeding baby. But with this now happening, what's happening? How do I fix it? Like, what do I do? So it was very painful being in that fix and finding myself really helpless and not knowing what else to do. So during that week, I predominantly just rested. I tried to eat as much as I could. I usually am the kind of person who exercises every morning, particularly during the week, for at least 30 minutes. But from week 5, I stopped entirely. Like, during the day or in the evenings, I would also, I used to go for walks. But at this point, everything had literally come to a halt. because I didn't have the energy. Like, even just moving from like the bedroom to the study was nearly impossible. I struggled just moving around. So the week when I was on leave, on sick leave, I tried to move around. At some point I was able to go on a walk around the block. It was a struggle, but I also knew I needed that mobility. I needed to keep active and, just breathe fresh air and be out of the apartment. So I did that, and after the sick leave, things were getting slightly better, but I was still losing the weight. And with time, I started identifying more foods that I could add onto my diet that helped. I found kale was really easy to take in, so I ate a lot of kale. And I was happy because it's the only green thing I could take. I love my avo, or rather I used to before I got pregnant or before that period. But during that period, I abhorred it. I didn't even want to see avocado. And such things are painful because you know that you love the thing, but you just stare at it and you just get this aversion. So that was me with avocado. One other thing I tried to force down was the eggs. I try to eat eggs in the morning because it's one of the recommended foods, because they provide choline for the baby and for the whole pregnancy experience. They're one of the fundamental foods that are recommended. So I try to have not at least just one, and sometimes I couldn't even finish the one. Try to eat it in different forms. I boiled it, I made an omelet, I did scrambled, and the struggle was just finishing that. And I then realized portion management was very important, because I realized I couldn't finish not even half the portion I used to eat before getting pregnant. Sometimes I'd literally have a spoonful and that would be it. I wouldn't want to eat anymore. So I started listening to my body, and I would have, if it demanded just a spoon, I would just have that and put it aside. And then an hour or 30, if it's sometimes even 30 minutes later, I would feel a bit like a bit of hunger pangs. So I would go for another spoon or two. So I didn't force it because I found forcing it exacerbated things and honestly didn't help anything. So I just went with the flow and, just took time to listen to my body. And I know not everyone has the privilege or the opportunity to take time to listen to their body, but I think we can try, particularly when it's so critical a stage where everything is dependent on you, where baby is dependent on you. I think we can all try to make an initiative to just be attentive to our bodies, to our babies who are helpless. Because that's what I kept thinking. I kept thinking, oh my, this little baby literally just depends on me for food, for anything, for any source of vitamins, minerals, and anything really. And I knew I needed to do the best, and I knew I needed to put the baby first. So I tried by all means to do that, and with time I started taking small portions, and I could probably eat 8 times, if not more, a day, because sometimes it was literally just a spoonful of oats, sometimes the kale. And the kale, sometimes I would have it with red meat. I found I wanted red meat. So I listened to my body in that regard. I also, actually, before I got pregnant, I was taking folic acid with iodine. That is what my doctor recommended. And she found during the earlier tests that I had vitamin D deficiency. So she recommended for me to take vitamin D3. And of course, these are things that you need to talk to your doctor about. They know better. In that regard, it's literally just my sharing my experience and what my doctor recommended as per my body and my needs. So with that one, don't take my word for it. I'm not even going to recommend any brand in that regard, because I can imagine you might be watching this from a different part of the world, or your doctor might have their own recommendation. So my advice would be to listen to that. But one thing I know is multivitamins and prenatal vitamins rather are very important, and I'm sure your doctor would recommend that. And it's really advisable to see one's doctor around that 6 week mark, is what I've heard and realized. And yeah, I've realized that's the consensus at which one is supposed to see that doctor. And it helped because she gave us a lot of information to go through to educate ourselves on, or not to be alarmed by certain experiences, particularly being first parents and not knowing what we are doing and just being in the dark. So some things would have definitely surprised us. Like I would have pain around my lower abdomen, and it felt a bit like cramps, but it was more consistent throughout the day. And she had mentioned that such an experience is to be expected, that most women do experience that. So when it came around, I wasn't alarmed per se. So yeah, those things are very important to take note of, to listen to as many of such videos I think as possible, listen to other people's experiences, and above all, listen to one's doctor and read the material that your doctor provides. But I find it's really important to also know that we are different. What one experiences is going to be not the opposite, but different from what another person experiences. Some women can start gaining weight rather from day one. Some women are not able to keep their food down. Either they vomit, or unfortunately it comes out the other side. And I came to realize it's such a unique journey. It's such a peculiar journey for each one of us. And getting to appreciate that is the most beautiful thing, and getting to experience that it's you and your baby, and there is nothing else that can be added or removed from that, and just doing the best for both you and the baby. So yeah, in terms of my experiences, that's what I went through. And then the things that would help, I found that ginger and lemon tea helped a lot. I had that. I would sip it throughout the day whenever I could. I also had peppermint tea. It helped with the sort of that nauseous experience. So I would sip that. I also bought some mints, and I bought some crackers. I heard a lot of people recommend crackers. I bought a variety of those. They didn't really work for me. And some people even recommended to put them by your bedside table, such that the moment you wake up, you just nibble on one. That didn't work for me. But one thing I'll speak to is how painful the pregnancy hunger is. Like the moment I felt hungry, I knew I had to eat something that very moment. It's such a painful experience, such a nagging, brutal experience. The hunger is, it feels like it felt like I was being choked, personally. And it felt like if I did not have something within the next second, I was going to die. So it was very important for me to always have something readily available, or know that I can easily prepare either oats, or quickly whip up an egg, or yeah, something. And the thirst as well. I literally, like, I would feel so parched. My throat would feel dry. Like, where I couldn't even talk, where it felt like someone was sucking the air out of me. So those are the extremities that I found and experienced, and I was like, oh my goodness. I need to have something all the time. So I'd have protein bars with me, different types of protein bars that comprise predominantly of nuts. So I'd have that and nibble on it. And it was amazing how just one bite would literally help with the hunger. So yeah, that has been my experience. I believe I'm on the other side of it now. Like I mentioned, between the 13 and 14-week mark, and I'm eating my avocado again. I am more active. I'm able to put in like 10,000 plus steps in a day. I'm able to go to the gym, and I'm looking forward to utilizing this trimester, or the rest of the pregnancy, just taking care of baby and me, and putting in the right types of food in to nourish both of us. I'm not sure what the next couple of months are going to bring, but one thing I know for sure, one of the big things that really got me through the first trimester and its challenges were sometimes going over the video we took when we went to do the dating and viability scan, and where I could feel the heartbeat, and just it warms my heart up, and it reassures me that there's an actual human being growing, and I'm not experiencing all this for nothing. It's for the greater good of baby and our family, obviously. So yeah, sorry if you're going through it. I hope these nuggets help one way or another, and I hope you share them with a friend. And if you have any questions, I can only share as per my experience, and I'm more than happy to do so. I'm more than happy to, yeah, to help where I can. Really, if you need advice, I'm more than happy to do that. But the first person I'd recommend for you to go to if you need help is your doctor. They've they've been doing this for longer than we have. They've seen us and many other women come and go, But yeah, lean on it, find the positives in it. There is definitely light at the end of the tunnel. When I was in it, I didn't think so. At one point, I remember just lying on the couch and wondering, okay, I'm just taking it day by day, but it feels like forever. Like just day seems like forever. And thank God I was able to sleep throughout the night. The only times I'd probably wake up was when I needed to go wee, which is another thing that we obviously know as a development. When one is expecting, we tend to wee more often. So I'd wake up during the night to go to the bathroom, but I was able to sleep, and I thank God for that. And I know some women struggle with insomnia around that time. I'm just grateful I didn't, and I hope you as well don't. And what I realized helped was, of course, when I felt tired during the day, I would nap, but I tried not to go for long periods of time just napping, like 5 hours or something along those lines, because that tends to ruin the circadian rhythm, such that at night you might not be able to sleep as much. So perhaps monitor such. But if your body does say nap, nap. I think that's one of the things I learned, that the body does communicate, and we just need to listen to it. I'm grateful that I didn't have problems such as bloating, which some women I've realized struggle with. And I think maybe with bloating, I've realized I did experience it once in a while, like maybe once a week. But what I would then do is, like I said, the kale really helped my system. Some women end up taking certain medications to help with that. Maybe if you talk to your doctor, they can recommend which ones to take. But kale worked for me. Oats, just simple oats, because I could add yogurt to that, like I said, which is a probiotic, if I'm not mistaken. It did help my system work regularly, and I was truly grateful for that. So now I am gaining a bit of weight. It's just a matter of monitoring that it's not excessive. So I'm happy that I am now back to baseline. I'm back to the same weight I was at around the time I got pregnant. So I'm happy with that, and I'm sure my doctor will be happy about that as well. And I'm just trying to eat as healthily as possible, exercise where I can. But yeah, that's my first trimester experience. It wasn't a train smash. In the moment, it felt like a train smash. But looking back, I'm grateful for the experience, particularly because I'm able to share with you. I'm able to tell you, to caution you, to help you where I can. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you through all the stages of your life, to heal through them, to navigate those stages. And yeah, I hope and wish you all the best. Congratulations, by the way. It's a blessing. It's a beautiful chapter. I don't know what the next 6 months hold for me, but I know I can't wait to meet this one. I haven't started showing yet. Well, when I'm looking at my body, I can definitely tell the difference. Being like this, it doesn't show. But if you know me and you know my boobs, you would definitely tell that there's a bit of a development over there. But in terms of clothes, everyday clothes, I think I can still get away with it for maybe another month or so. My husband says maybe a week because baby is starting to show. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope this helps one of you. Reach out where you can. Sending you peace and blessings, sending you tons of love, sending you healing and wellness in all areas of your life. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Bye.